I think they took the day off. There were no red numbers there, right? They didn't change anything. Didn't change the U.S., didn't change Brazil. They did cut Argentina 1.5 million, but really they didn't change any of the numbers. They basically said, yeah, we think we got it right in January. All right? So bottom line, I'm not going to, since they didn't change anything, we're not going to spend a lot of time on it. The estimate's 420 million ending stocks. That's a 10.2% stocks usage ratio. They left the cash price estimate midpoint at 950. If that is the final number, keep in mind they're going to revise it for 6 more months. If that were the final number, we'd say 10% stocks usage ratio. What do futures prices usually do in a year when we have a 10% stocks use ratio? Well, they have an average range. We just took any year over 7%, which rules out most of the last 5, by the way, and said, okay, that range is roughly $2.20 some. If 950 is the cash price, the low futures would be about 888 for the 12-month period. The high would be 1119. Okay, same methodology as we talked about in corn yesterday. We're figuring out the average annual range in beans for years where the stocks are bigger than 7%, because that's different than when they're tight. And then we're saying where does the USDA cash average price fit within that range? So if 950 is the right cash price, the range we'd expect is 888 to 1119. What have we actually done so far? 934 to 1080, right? So we're still, in theory, we still got 40 cents of room up there if we're going to have an average range. You know the old saying, though, you can drown in an average of 6 foot of water, right? You go out in that pond and there's an 8-foot hole and you can't swim, you're going to be in trouble, right? So don't assume that we're going to get the 1118, or 1119, but that's still, if there's another leg up because of something that happens in South America or with weather this spring, that's where we're going, all right? Actually, we might go a little further than that because our model suggests the exports are going to be about 30 million higher, that we will get an upward revision in exports, about 30 million. And that takes the stocks down to 384, bumps up that cash price another 20 cents a boot. Okay? So we think 970 might be the final number. And in that case, your low futures can be 908, 1139. That's still lower than what we've observed to date, but it gives you a little more topside. All right? On average moves. We've already done $1.46 a bushel since September 1. Again, how important is marketing to your beans? Just since September 1, it's $1.46 difference depending on when you sold them. All right, new crop. Let's look at that briefly. What am I looking at? Right now, 89 million acres. All right, that's up 5.6 million from year over year. That's not the highest number out there. It's a pretty steep jump, though, considering last year was a record. We've never grown 89 million before.
Do you have double crop acres in that?
Double crop would be included in that. Yes, double crop's included in that at about a 6% or 6.5%, I think. But yes, double crop is always included in USDA's number too. So I'm dropping the yield to 49. Again, that would still be second highest ever. You know, we had some very interesting debates last night about is there new genetics and we're going to have 50 bushels plus forever, or is that just the seed companies taking advantage of it while they can, right? Hey, we were the ones that caused that, right? But the answer is, of course, we don't know. But you got to start somewhere, right? You got to decide whether to price any new crop beans this early. Well, 89 million acres, 49 bushel, very interesting. You got 5 million more acres, but dropping the yield just 3 bushels, and your crop is the same size as last year. Hello? Just dropping the yield back to 49, which is what our crop condition model said was what it normally would have been last year. just going back to that level erases that 5 million acres of additional plantings relative to crop size. 4.315 versus 4.307, 80 million bushel difference. Not negligible. Okay? I'm sorry, 8 million bushels difference. On use side, though, we don't think we can get the exports that we got last year because of the increased South American supplies. We don't think we quite get there. All right, so we've got 4,105 for total use. Carryover under this scenario does grow to 624. Now, part of that's because the ending stocks are double, almost double year ago, right? 384 versus 197. So that's part of the problem. The crop, we were assuming the crop's almost the same size, but you're lugging more old crop inventory, so you're already handicapped, and then you lose some exports. Those are still very good exports at a little over 2 billion, but not quite as ambitious as what we think we have. Bottom line, of course, is if the stocks actually are over 600 million, your stocks usage ratio is going to be 15% or more, and that's about a 80-cent Hickey versus USDA on your cash average price for next year. Okay? If everybody really does what they're talking about and expands the bean acres, and we get that kind of yield, we got too many beans, and your price is going to be on average 80 cents less than this year. All right? What's that do to board price? That would, using our 7% or greater stocks used, we'd expect the low price to be around $8, the high to be about $10.40. Gee, where have no beans been trading recently? $10.30, $10.40, right? So the market is willing to accept this as a possible scenario. They haven't been willing to push new crop past that level. And if this turns out to be right, what should you be doing? Selling new crop beans right now. Yeah. If this is what's going to happen, you should be making some sales. Now, I'm going to show you why we're dragging our feet a little bit. The seasonal timing is off. But from a straight techno-fundamental, if we go past 1040, the market's basically saying it doesn't think it's going to be this bad on the S&D side.
Alan, did you just do an SRR report here recently on like the last 5 years of what USDA said the ending stocks were going to be and what they in reality they became? I know I read a report and I think it was you guys that sent it out.
We have done those. I don't know which one you're referring to specifically, but yeah, they do make the revisions.
Or carryover.
Yeah.
Extrapolate from last year, they're only saying what the carryover will probably be.
Yeah. And I'm showing a little of that here, but I'm not willing to say we're going to replicate last year's fourth quarter exports. All right. So the implication, of course, is, again, very preliminary. We don't know if that's the right acreage. We certainly don't know if that's the right yield. We're sitting here before any of the seeds gotten out of the bag or the bin or the tank or whatever you're using to feed your planter. And the point is, preliminary, 1040 is a pretty decent price if this is going to be the way it turns out.